What's the deal with tempo work? Why do we do it? And why should everybody be doing it? Coach Berek here, Equity Podcast, giving you the tools to be fit for life. So, we're going to talk about tempo work today. You don't, when you think CrossFit, you don't really think of tempo work. However, everybody should be doing tempo work. Beginners, vets, people in the middle, young, old, everybody should be doing tempo work. It doesn't matter what your goals are. There should be you should be having some tempo work in your training. So there's kind of three main reasons that we want tempo work. The first one is mechanics. We want to make sure that we're moving well. And when we slow down, especially the lowering of a movement, we can work on our mechanics. We can make sure that we're moving well. When we're trying to go fast, it's hard to focus on everything. But when we're moving slowly, the coach can cue more effectively. You can feel what is happening and making sure that we're getting the right movement. So, for example, at the bottom of a squat, we might see the knees cave in, we might see the chest rounding, we might see the head drop. So I can give those one at a time. All right, on this next squat, really want you to focus on keeping your knees tracking over your toes. Nice and slow. There you go. Now you got it. Do you feel the knees pushing out now? Yes. Right now, on this next one, I want you to focus on keeping a proud chest and keeping your head very slightly above neutral. Go down, nice and slow. Go up. Do you feel that position? All right. Now we can slowly increase that rate of speed. We can increase that intensity very slightly. But that tempo on the way down lets us build that awareness. It lets us build our mechanics. We use this in our on-ramp program when we're building squats, when we're building push-ups, when we're building almost anything. We can slow the movement down to make sure we're in the proper positions and moving well. We want to see good mechanics over time. That's how we get better. We can also use that tempo even for vets or for more advanced movements. If we're working on our clean, if we're working on our snatch, if we're working on our deadlift, by slowing the movement down, by working some tempo reps, tempo up or tempo down, we can help build our awareness. We can make sure we're hitting certain positions. We can make sure that we're doing the movement like we should be. And then we can slowly increase that speed to make sure that we do it. If we just jump to full speed, we're generally missing a lot of those points of performance. We're missing those good mechanics. So slowing it down can help reinforce that. And you don't just go from, I never do tempo anymore because I have really good technique. Tempo work helps you maintain that good technique, those good mechanics. We always want to be working on our mechanics. There's always room to get better. The next part, the second thing, is strength, stability, and positions. When we slow down, the muscle is going to have to do more work. There's more time under tension. We're going to be working our strength. We're also going to be, since there's more time under tension, those little muscles are going to be doing more. We're going to have to stabilize ourselves. We're not just focusing on momentum. So now we need to be able to stabilize that weight. We need to make sure that that the particular position that we're working on is a good position and that we're strong in that position. If you have to go really slow in a position you're not weak in and you keep working on that over time, you're going to get stronger in that position. So it helps us build awareness of positions, helps us build strong positions, help us build strength, both on the way up, being explosive, and that control on the way down. It lets us build the stability to be able to support load overhead or however, helps us support that load in a safe manner. Being able to control your weight in general is going to help prevent injury, right? If you are able to stop yourself from falling a negative, you're less likely to hurt yourself. If you don't have the strength to catch yourself, you're more likely to injure yourself. So building that strength, building that stability, building those positions are going to help us be more affordable in the gym, but that's not why we do things. We do things to be able to do anything that we want to do in our life, right? It's going to let us be more independent. It's going to let us do all the things that we want to do in our life as well. The third one is joint health. When we start using that tempo, when you use tempo movements, when you're increasing that time under tension, it's going to be help it's going to help build that full range of motion, right? Maybe we start with a limited range, but eventually with that tempo, we can start getting a little bit lower, right? We can start using full range of motion. We're going to start building the muscles around the joints, right? All of them around the joints, right? We talked about strength before. We are going to work on the ligaments and the tendons around that, because now that we're going slow, everything is going to be stressed. And a little bit of stress is good. Acute stress is good. Chronic stress, where we're always stressing the ligaments, the tendons, that's not good. But when we can load it in a safe manner and then use tempo, that is how those ligaments, tendons, and muscles around the joints get stronger and healthier over time. So if you have joint issues, or you're worried about your joints in the future, doing tempo work can help. If we are young, even young athletes, right, in high school, doing that tempo work is obviously going to be super important for mechanics, but it's also going to help build those tendons, ligaments, and muscles around the joints to help keep them safe. We see so much of these non-contact injuries in youth sports because these kids are so fast, but they don't have the strength around their joints to keep themselves safe, or they don't have the mechanics to cut properly. And doing a training program that adds tempo work will help prevent that. It's not going to eliminate the risk, but it can reduce that risk. It can reduce the risk of joint issues in later ages, or help improve the joint health, even if we are in our, in our later years, right? Whatever that is for you. It's never the best time to work on your joint health was 20 years ago. The next best time is now. Start working on it now. Now, like I said before, CrossFit is not known for tempo work, right? We're about work capacity. We want to be, we're about power. And yes, that's what we're going to do most of the time. Train fast, be fast. But we still need tempo work in our life. And we do that already in our classes. It's built into class. We use it for our warm-ups, our general warm-up. We use it for our specific warm-up, right? I talked about earlier how we do this in our on-ramp, how I do it with on-ramp members. We do this in our warm-up, in our specific warm-ups, in our regular classes. So we can work on mechanics and strength and all that stuff. We have it built in so that we're doing some tempo work built in. It might not be in the workout, but it's part of that hour session that we're getting in. We also will work out some tempo work actually in class. Like we'll do tempo squats or tempo pull-ups, or we'll do some tempo work as well, especially during our strength quarter, strength cycle right after the open. We'll see a lot of that strength work and tempo work in there as well. We also we have a hybrid fitness class once a month. Maybe we should probably up it to 2, but we're getting there. Once a month, we do a hybrid fitness class. And the hybrid fitness class is in 2 parts. Part 1 is strength work with a lean towards tempo work, because we know we're not getting that as much in the group classes as we want at a heavier load. Like I said, we see it a lot in the warm-ups and in the specific warm-up, general and specific warm-up. So getting some tempo work there, that adds a little bit. And then that second half is that endurance piece, the 40 plus minute work that is hard to do in an hour class. So the hybrid fitness class is an hour and a half. So that's kind of the focus of there. So we get some tempo work there. We also have our individual design. So we have our members that are doing group class, but they want a little bit more personalized. Uh, they want it a little more individualized for them, right? So they're going to get all the workouts specifically set up for them. So, hey, this is the group class workout, but this is specifically what I want you doing today. And then we might have some accessory work to go along with that sometime throughout the week. And during that accessory work, we will add some tempo to help with whatever their goals are, right? It's going to be based off their goals. So if it's pull ups, we might have some tempo pull ups, or hey, it's a pull up, but I want you to control that down. So individual design or accessory work is another place that we get that. So that's kind of like where it's already in, but it's like, hey, I really want to focus on some tempo work for whatever reason, to build strength, to work on mechanics, to work on my joint health. How can I kind of sprinkle this in kind of on my own? Well, one way is on our movements when you're doing in the warm up, we can start adding that in, right? Maybe add it in yourself, right? Start doing some of that. Or during the workout, let's say we have pull ups, instead of dropping, once you hit the pull up, we have control that down. Don't just drop from the top, right? Control it down. If we have pull ups in a workout, do strict pull ups and control the descent all the way down. If we're doing barbell work, right, we're doing clean and jerks. Don't drop the bar from overhead. Control that weight down, right? That is a version of a tempo movement. Yes, it's going to be more taxing. It's going to be more work. Your score won't be as high as if you were dropping it, but that's okay. That's not necessarily the goal. Our goal is to whatever it is for you. Maybe that control is going to help you towards what you're going to be doing. I want to work on a little bit more, trying to build that strength and stability. So I'm going to control all the way down. That's okay. When I deadlift, I'm always going to control the deadlift to the floor, right? We try to do that already. If we're doing strength deadlift work, we want to control that last rep to the ground. That is a little extra piece where we can find some additional strength training, right? Oh, it's just one drop, right? It's one rep. But if you take that over time, one rep across all of your sets, across a year, 2 years, that's going to add up. Where can you add it? So think about controlling throughout a workout. Like I said, your score might not be as high, but that's okay. That's we're not we're not working out to be the best at working out. We're working out to support our life. Now, all because tempo is good, which it is, that doesn't mean we just want to always be doing tempo work. We still want to be explosive. We still want to work on our power output because that's how we do things in life. In life, you're not controlling everything down, right? We just need to get something from A to B. I need to carry my daughter up the steps, right? I need to chase the dog. You need to be fast to do that. I need to climb up something. You don't need the control all the time, but that tempo can help us get to those things. So, yes, tempo is super important, but that doesn't mean we need to or should do it all the time. Especially in sport, we talked about the kids. You need to train fast to be fast on the field, but we need to partner that with being sure we're building that strength and stability so we can be fast. And that's why it isn't tempo is better than not tempo. One's not better than the other. They're just different and they work together. They come together, and doing both makes you better overall. So I hope this helps kind of figure out what tempo is and how you should be using it. If you kind of have some more questions on how you should be using it, reach out, shoot me a message. Just comment below. Just let me know, and I'd love to reach out and help you out and just give you a little guidance on where you should be going and how it can help you get you to where you want to get. If you think this would be helpful for somebody else, like if you know somebody that has joint pain, if you know somebody that has kids that they want to help reduce the risk of injury, send them this video, send them my info. I'd love to talk to them about, hey, what can they do to help them stay safe, help reduce that risk of injury. As always, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to add a tool to your toolbox. Cheers.